Hi guys, as in the last lecture we saw the Boolean and in-place operators. Today we will see some control structures which are if statements. So assume we came across a condition such that we have to perform a task only and only if we met a condition. So let's take an example. As we mentioned in the last task, if we get 1 on the die we have to print high. So basically for these types of problems we can use a control structure called as if statement. So basically if format is if condition, then a colon and statement. So this is a format of if statement. This indentation is compulsory, due to which Python knows that if this condition is true, then this statement will occur. This statement will be executed, else it will not be executed. So let's comment this and create a program like that. If we have to give a condition that, let's take a variable die num, which will give us the number on the die. Let's assign it to 1. And if the condition that die number equal to means is equal to 1, then we have to print high. So let's run this and we got a high here. So if we change the die number to 2 and then run, we got nothing, because we have put a condition that if and only if the die number is equal to 1. If this is true, as we saw in the last lecture, the Boolean comparison, this double equal to will check the equality on both the side, and if die number is equal to 1, then only it will return true. And if this return true, and if this condition returns true, then only this print will executed, else it will not executed. As we change this die number to 2, so this print didn't get executed. So if we print here as high, then as we know it is not inside this if statement. So we got a high here. So to describe some task only when this condition applies, we have to indent that statement or set of statement. Like if we indent this also and then run, this will not give an output. If we change this to 1 and then run, then it will give both as a output. So if we remove this indentation and then run, then also it will run. Why this will run? Because this condition is true, so it appeared. So here let us change it to 2 and then run. So only this statement will run. So why did that happen? High and high, because this condition got true and Python executed this, and on the next line it executed this. And if we change this to 2 and this condition become false, it will not do this task, it will execute directly this. So we got a high in smaller case. So to describe some task inside this if statement, we have to give an indentation. It is nothing but a set of spaces given before the task. So after colon we have to give some set of spaces. If we don't give that and then execute, it will give an indentation error, except expected indentation, but it didn't got, so it returned an error. So if we here give an tab and then run, then it will run successfully. So similarly, if here we gave 2 spaces and then wrote, then also it will give an indentation error, as if we describe something So we have to keep the indentation as constant. So here if we use a tab, then we have to use here tab only, then only it will run. Else if we don't give a tab and give one space or some different indentation, then it will throw an indentation error. So we have to perfectly give a tab, as these should be constant. Therefore now if we run, as the condition is false, this will not run. So as we came across a condition that if we got 6 on the die, then we have to print out of the house. So if statement can be executed many times, as if die num equal to 6, then we have to print out of the house. So now if we change this to 1 and then execute the program, we will get print hi, as dynum is equal to 1. This condition became true and it executed this part. So if we change this to 6, then we got out of the house, as the Python checked here, the condition became false, so this statement didn't executed, and it checked the next statement as dynum equal to 6, and as it is true, it executed this statement. So basically this is the format of if statement. You can also perform nesting using if inside another if. So let's take an example, as let we create a variable and assign it to a value 13, and then let's check if num is greater than 10. So if it returns, then print greater than 10, and if number is less than 20, then we have to print number is between 10 and 20. So basically what will happen, when we assign num as 13, it will come here and check if num is greater than 10. So as 13 is greater than 10, it will print greater than 10, and then it will perform this if. So it will check the condition as 13 is less than 20, then it becomes true, this condition becomes true, and then this print is executed. So let us execute it and comment this out. So if we now run, we get greater than 10, but number is between 10 and 20. So let's change this to 25 and now run. So it just printed the greater than 10, as this condition is true but this condition is false. So if we type 9, so it didn't executed anything, because this condition became false and it didn't executed this output. So basically this is the nesting of if. So let's assume one more condition, such that if we get number 10, then only we have to print its full. Otherwise we have to print its half. So let's take this condition, and then for such a type of condition, as we have to do a condition check, and if returns false then we have to do some other task. So for this there is an else statement associated with if. So basically the else if else format is if condition, then it will execute the statement given in this, else it will execute this statement. So as we discussed the condition that if the number is equal to 10, then only we have to print its full, otherwise we have to print its half. So let's take here condition as num equal to 10. Let's take number as it will collide with this, and let's comment this out. So let's declare a variable number equal to 10. So we have to print its full, else we have to print its half. So let's execute this, and it return its full. Why? Because this condition became true. And what if this condition became false? Then it will print the its half, means else statement. So we can use else for this condition. So basically else statement is executed only if this condition is false, and if it is true then if statement will work. So this is the main concept of if and else statement. So we can create multiple nested if else loop and check many conditions. So let's take a program, comment this out. Let's take a program in which we have to, on depending on the number of day, we have to print the name of the day. So let's take a variable day equal to some number between 1 to 7. So let's take 4 and create a program. So if day equal to 1, then we have to print Monday. So let's give an else, and in this it will check if day is equal to 2, then print Tuesday. So let's copy this out because it will be used similarly. So let's give an else, we require this part only. So let's print this and give an indentation. So here if day is equal to 3, we have to print Wednesday. So let's take until 3. So if we take number as 1, then it will return Monday. If we take 0, then it will return nothing because there is no condition such as that. So we can also take 2, then run, it returns Tuesday. If we take 3, then it returns Wednesday. So it is an example of nested if. We can also use a simple method such as if day equal to num. Let's consider this as num, and we will change it, and then print. Let's copy this and print 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's change this to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's take it as 7 and remove this 0. So let's print here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So let's comment this out. Now execute this. So let's take this down and reduce. So if we change this to 7, then we get Sunday. If we take 6, then we get Saturday. If we take 4, then we get Thursday. And similarly 7 days is got by this. So this is an if statement. So we can also use this for else if nesting, but it will confuse more. So this is an easy program to run. Instead of using so much of if statement or this nested if else, there is a custom statement which can be used in the Python, which if condition statement. This is the basic format of if statement. This is the modified else if, where we have to give condition 2, and this would be statement 2, and then else and statement 3. So we can give any number of else if statement between if and else. So what else if will do, if this condition is true, then it will execute this. Else if this is false, this condition is false, then it will go to this statement, else if. So this elif is basically else like this. So this is basically else if, which in short form is written as elif. So this will check this condition then, and if this condition is true, then it will execute this statement. And if this all, if we add one more elif, so if we add one more elif, so if we add one more elif, then if this is false, this it will check this, and if this is false, if this all is false, then it will go to else statement and execute this statement. So similarly, if we modify, so let's comment this, and if we modify this to elif, then we will get and this is else, and now run, then it will give this same output. Let's change this to 1 and then run. So it will give the same output. So why we need elif instead of if? Because if we change this here, if we add here an if statement and say day equal to 1 and then print choose. So if we run now, it will give this. So if we run this, it will give Tuesday also in the output, but we require only Monday. So as here we assign day equal to 1 and then check day, if day is equal to 1, then print Monday. And here we check the same condition and then told print Tuesday. So as we now execute this, as this both condition is true, it will print both Monday as well as Tuesday. But we only want Monday to be print, as if day is assigned to 1, then only Monday will occur, not Monday and Tuesday will both occur together. So we can use here elif. So what is basically, if this is true, then it will run this, and if this is false, then only it will go here. So there will be no multiple Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and etc. on the same day one. So if we use elif and now run, so it will only give the Monday output. It will not give this Tuesday. Why? Because if and only if this condition becomes false, it will go to elif, else it will not go to elif. So that is the basic statement difference between these. So in if we have something called as Boolean logic, which is and, comma, not, comma, or. So these are the three Boolean logics. As this name suggests Boolean, so it will compare the both. So it will compare the two operations before and after, and then return a Boolean value which is true or false. So as we know the operators used in Python, similarly we can use this Boolean logic as consider A operation, and in middle Boolean logic, and then B. Let's take it as C. So this is Boolean logic. So this is the basic format of using Boolean logic. So and gives true only if A and A, B both are true. As we know in the logic gates, the AND as we know in the logic gate we use AND as this symbol in the mathematics. Similarly, we can use AND here. So if A and B both are true, then only AND will return us true. And for OR, we require any one operation as true. So if in A and B, if any one is true, then all will return true, and in not, it will return opposite of the given Boolean value. So basically not will return opposite of the given Boolean value. Let's take an example. So well, if true and true, then print true, else print false. So if we run this code, then we get true, as both true and true gives true. So if we change this to false, then we get false. Why? Because this condition true and false. So what we have said here, true and true, if both A and B are true, then only AND will return true. So here true and false return false. So this statement goes to else and then print false. So as in the previous, if we wrote true and then execute it, then as both are true, AND will return true, and if true, then it will print true. So let's change this to 2 is greater than 3 and 3 is greater than 2. So if we run this, it will give a false. Why? Because 2 is greater than 3. This is a false statement, and this will return true because 3 is greater than 2. So false and true returns false, and else will be executed because the condition is false. If we change this sign and then execute, it will return true. So let's change this to 2 is equal to 2 and then run. So it will give a true. So let's use a not here, as 2 is not equal to 2. So it will give a false. Why? Because 2 is equal to 2, but we have written a false statement. So let's put a not here and then execute. It will return a true. Why? Because this statement returns a false. And what we said, not will convert it to the opposite Boolean value. So as this is a false statement, not will convert this to true, and this and this true together will return true. So if we remove this not, then we will get false only. So let's take another example of OR. So here only we will took the OR and then run. So it will return true. Why? Because this statement is false, but this statement is true. So one of them is false and one of them is true. OR takes any one operation as true, then it will return true. So as this statement is true, OR returns true. So that's basically used for comparing values. Let's create a program for checking the maximum value when three integers are given. So let's take a equal to 5, b equal to 15, c equal to 4. So let's take an if statement. So if a is greater than b and a is greater than c, then we have to print a is maximum, a maximum. So let's execute this. So as a is not greater than b, so this returns a false, and a greater than c returns a true. So we get a false due to false and true, and returns false, and this statement is not executed. If we take a as 50 and now run, a is maximum, a maximum. Why? Because 50 is greater than 15 and 50 is greater than 4. So in both statement it returns true and converts it to true and prints a is maximum. So let's take an OR and then change it to 5 again and change this to 1 should be maximum. So as this becomes a true and this becomes a false, so if OR gets one of the statement as true, it will execute this statement as we have mentioned here. So if we change this OR again to and then here put a not here and then execute it, so it will give 1 should be maximum. So it is equal to OR. Why? Because this statement is false, but so while joining with not, it becomes true, and this true statement will execute and as true, and due to condition becomes true, this print will be executed. So that's all about the if, else, elif and Boolean logic in our today's lecture. Let's meet in our next video.